My husband gave me an ultimatum. Leave my dogs or lose the marriage. He never expected my secret. The coffee machine hummed a low, steady tune. It was a Tuesday morning, early March. Outside the window, the magnolia tree was just thinking about blooming, a pale pink promise against the gray sky. I watched it for a minute, then poured my coffee, 2 sugars, a splash of cream, just the way I always liked it. A comfort, a small ritual in a life that used to feel solid. The house was quiet, too quiet these days. Robert was already up, probably in his study. He spent more and more time in there. The door always closed, a new habit of his. After 50 years of marriage, you notice these things, the way the air shifts, the sounds that aren't there anymore. My 2 retrievers, Buster and Daisy, were curled on their oversized bed by the fireplace. Soft snores, golden fur, they were my shadows, my constants. They followed me from room to room, watched me with eyes full of a love that asked nothing in return, a pure love. I loved those dogs, more than words could say. They were family, always had been. I took my coffee to the sunroom, my favorite spot. The morning light was still weak, but it promised warmth. I sat in my old wicker chair, the one with the faded floral cushions. It smelled faintly of dog. I didn't mind. I never minded. I thought about Robert, about us, how we met, fresh out of college. He was so handsome, so ambitious. I was a quiet girl, a librarian. He swept me off my feet. A whirlwind romance, marriage within a year. Our parents thought it was fast, but we knew. We just knew. Or so I thought. We bought our first house, a small place, white picket fence. 2 kids quickly followed. Our son Michael, our daughter Sarah. They were our world. We built a life. Weekends at the lake, summer vacations to the coast, Christmas mornings filled with laughter and too many presents. We were the American dream. Solid, stable, happy. Robert built his law practice. He became successful, very successful. Our house grew with us. Bigger, more elegant. The picket fence became a stone wall. My days were filled with PTA meetings, volunteer work, keeping our home a sanctuary. I loved being a mother, a wife. I loved nurturing. I loved creating a beautiful space for my family. The years flew by. Michael went to an Ivy League, became a doctor, married a sweet girl, Jessica. They had 2 children, my grandchildren, little Robert and Alina. Sarah pursued art. She lived a more bohemian life, moved to Portland, never married, but she called every Sunday. Without fail, life wasn't always easy. We had our share of arguments, money worries in the early years, Michael's rebellious phase as a teenager, Sarah's struggles with anxiety. But we got through it. Together, that was always the mantra. Together, Robert and I, a united front. We always had each other, or so I believed. It started subtly, a slow drift, like a boat untethered. Robert started staying later at the office. He said the cases were complex, demanding. I understood. His work was important. He was a partner now. The firm relied on him. Then came the golf trips, weekend excursions with his buddies. Always vague on the details. I never pressed. I trusted him. After all these years, what reason would I have not to? We were in our 60s, our golden years. This was supposed to be our time. Travel, relaxation, grandkids. He became critical. Small things at first, the way I cooked, the music I listened to, my clothes, then the dogs, Buster and Daisy. They were always a part of our family. Since they were puppies, we rescued them from a local shelter. They had been abandoned. Scared, I nursed them back to health. They thrived, became the most loving companions. Robert started complaining about their fur, their barking, the dog smell in the house. It stung. I had always been meticulous. Our home was spotless. I groomed them, cleaned constantly. But he'd make these comments. Sharp, unkind. It felt like he was picking fights, creating distance. One evening, we were watching TV. Or rather, I was watching. He was on his phone, tapping away. He'd barely looked up all night. I reached for his hand. He flinched, pulled it away, said he was tired, that he had a headache. I went to bed alone that night. The bed felt vast, empty. I cried into my pillow. Silent tears, the kind you cry when you don't even know why you're crying. Just a profound sense of loneliness, of something lost. The next morning, he was gone before I woke. A note on the counter. Early meeting. Love R. The love felt like a formality, a habit, not a feeling. The tension around the dogs escalated. He would kick Buster gently if he came too close. Daisy, he'd ignore her completely. They sensed it. They became more subdued around him, less playful. It broke my heart to see them like that. They were innocent. They only wanted to give love. "We need to talk about these dogs, Evelyn." He said it one night after dinner. We were in the living room, the TV off, the silence heavy. I braced myself. "What about them, Robert?" My voice was tight. I knew where this was going. "They are too much. They are old. They smell. The house smells. They shed everywhere. I'm tired of it. I want them gone." His words were flat, devoid of emotion. My breath caught in my throat. "Gone? Robert, you can't be serious. They are family. They've been with us for 10 years. I am serious. I'm putting my foot down. Either they go, or I go." He stood up, walked to the window, looked out into the darkness, his back to me. A wall. My world tilted. An ultimatum. Over my dogs. My beloved dogs. This wasn't about the dogs. This was about him. About us. What was he really saying? "You can't do this. Robert, please, don't do this." My voice was a whisper, a plea. He turned. His face was cold, hard. "I've made my decision, Evelyn. I want them out. By the end of the month." He walked out of the room, up the stairs. I heard his study door close, the click of the lock. I sat there, stunned, numb, my heart aching. Buster whimpered, nudged my hand with his wet nose. Daisy rested her head on my lap. Their soft presence was the only thing keeping me from shattering completely. I tried to talk to him over the next few days, reason with him, beg him. I offered to have them groomed more often, to keep them in a specific part of the house, anything, but he was unyielding. "My decision is final, Evelyn. Don't make this harder than it has to be." I called Michael. He tried to mediate. "Dad, Mom loves those dogs. They're good dogs." But Robert just shut him down, said it was a marital matter. None of his business. Michael was confused. He called me later. "Mom, what's going on with Dad? He's never been like this." I just cried. I couldn't explain it, because I didn't understand it myself. The end of the month approached. I felt a growing sense of panic. I loved my dogs. They were my comfort, my sanity, my connection to joy. How could he ask me to choose? How could he be so cruel? One afternoon, I was looking for an old tax document, something Robert mentioned he needed. It wasn't in the usual drawer in his desk. He kept that drawer unlocked. Always. It held our joint financial papers, our wills, our insurance policies. I went to his study. The door was unlocked. For once, he must have forgotten. My heart pounded a little, a strange mix of curiosity and fear. I knew I shouldn't go in there, but a part of me felt compelled. I went to his desk, pulled open the drawer. The tax document wasn't there, but underneath, a stack of old files. I saw something else, a small velvet box, not like a jewelry box. This was flatter, square. I picked it up. My fingers trembled. I opened it. Inside lay a single silver locket, simple, elegant, and a small, folded piece of paper. I took it out, unfolded it slowly. My eyes scanned the handwriting. It wasn't mine. It was a woman's hand. Loopy, youthful. The note read, "To my dearest Robert, thank you for everything. Our time together means the world to me. Always. Love, Chloe." Chloe. The name echoed in the silent room. Chloe. Who was Chloe? My mind raced. No one I knew. Not a colleague. Not a family friend. A sudden cold dread washed over me. I searched the drawer further, my hands shaking now, digging through papers. And then, I found it, tucked beneath a legal pad. A small photo. A woman. Younger. Much younger than me. Blonde hair. Bright smile. Standing next to Robert. His arm around her waist. They were laughing. On a beach. Somewhere sunny. Somewhere far away from our life. From our home. It wasn't just a locket. It wasn't just a note. It was a photograph. Proofs. A sickening wave of nausea hit me. My legs felt weak. I stumbled to the leather armchair by the window, collapsed into it, the photo clutched in my hand. My husband, Robert, my Robert, with another woman. The world outside the study window blurred. The magnolia tree, the green lawn, it all faded into a haze. My 50 years, our life, our memories, our children, our promises, it was all a lie. The arguments about the dogs, the late nights, the golf trips, the coldness, it all clicked into place. He wasn't tired. He wasn't stressed. He was with her, this Chloe, this younger woman. My heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice, each beat a painful throb. How long had this been going on? The locket, the note, it spoke of a relationship, not a fling, and our time together. Always, it implied a depth, a future, my future, our future. I heard the front door open. Robert was home. Panic surged through me. I quickly tucked the photo back. The locket, the note, put the box back in the drawer, closed it. My hands were still shaking. My face felt hot. My eyes burned. He called my name. Evelyn, you home? His voice, so normal, so calm, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. I walked out of the study. My heart was a drum against my ribs, my breath shallow. Yes, Robert, I'm here. He looked at me, a fleeting glance. Oh, good. I need to make some calls. He walked past me, straight to his study. The door clicked shut. He locked it. I stood in the hallway, dazed. The house felt like a tomb. I walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water. My hand trembled so much the water sloshed over the rim. My mind was reeling. This wasn't just a betrayal. This was a complete demolition of my reality. Every touch, every word, every shared meal, every anniversary, every quiet night in front of the fireplace. Had he been thinking of her, lying to me? For years, I remember a conversation we had a few months ago. He was talking about retirement, about selling the house, moving to Florida. I was excited, nervous, but excited. Now I wondered, was he planning to take her to Florida? Was he planning to start a new life, a new family? With this Chloe, leaving me, the dogs, our children, our entire history, behind. The pain was physical, a searing ache in my chest. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I went to the sunroom, sat in my wicker chair. Buster and Daisy immediately came to me, licked my hands, whimpered softly, as if they knew, my only loyal companions, the ones he wanted to throw away. It all made sense now. The ultimatum, the cruelty. He was clearing the decks, preparing for his new life. And I was just collateral damage, an inconvenience. Anger started to simmer beneath the pain, a cold, hard anger. How dare he? How dare he betray me like this? After everything, after all the sacrifices, the years, the love, the life we built. I couldn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling. The silence of the house was punctuated by the rhythmic ticking of the antique grandfather clock in the hall. Each tick, a second of my wasted life, a second of his deception. The next morning, I woke with a steely resolve. The tears were gone, replaced by a cold fury. I knew what I had to do. I had to confront him, and I had to reveal my own truth. The truth I had buried for decades. The truth that made his current betrayal feel like a cruel echo. I waited until he was in the kitchen making his coffee. He usually left for work around 8. I walked in, my posture straight, my voice steady. Robert, we need to talk. Now, he looked up from his cup. Annoyance flickered in his eyes. Evelyn, I'm busy. We've talked about the dogs. There's nothing more to say. It's not about the dogs, Robert. I walked over to the counter, picked up his phone, held it in my hand. It's about Chloe. His face, it drained of all color. His eyes widened, a flicker of panic, of fear. What are you talking about, Evelyn? His voice was a strained whisper. Don't play dumb with me, Robert. The locket, the note, the photo. I saw it all. In your study, in your unlocked drawer. Chloe, your young blonde girlfriend. Your new life, your new future. Each word was a lash. Each word burned. He stared at me. His mouth opened, then closed. He looked like a cornered animal. All bluster gone. All pretense shattered. Evelyn, I can explain. Explain what, Robert? Explain how you plan to throw away 50 years of marriage. Explain how you plan to replace me with someone half my age. Explain how you could be so utterly heartless. My voice rose, shaking, but I held it together. I had to. It's not what you think. It's complicated. He tried to reach for my hand. I pulled back, repulsed. Complicated. No, it's simple, Robert. You cheated. You lied. You betrayed every single promise you ever made to me. I took a deep breath. This was it. The moment I had dreaded. The moment I had prepared for. But here's what you don't know, Robert. Here's my secret. The one you never expected. The one you made me keep for 50 years. His eyes narrowed. A defensive flicker returned. What are you talking about? I looked him straight in the eye. My voice was calm now. Deadly calm. Michael, our son. Your golden boy. The one you always bragged about. The doctor. The successful one. I paused. Let the words hang in the air. He's not yours, Robert. He's not your son. The air left the room. Robert staggered back, leaned against the counter. His face was ghastly, white, his eyes wide with disbelief, then a slow dawning horror. What did you say? He choked out the words. You heard me. Michael is not your biological son. He's mine, my blood, but not yours. I watched him. Every muscle in his face tightened. His jaw clenched. A memory flashed in my mind. A cold winter. 45 years ago. Michael was barely a toddler. Robert was distant, obsessed with his budding career. He worked late every night, Came home exhausted. Drank too much. We barely spoke. Barely touched. I was lonely. So incredibly lonely. I felt invisible. Unloved. Then there was Mark, a colleague from the library. He was kind. Attentive. He listened to me. Made me laugh. We had coffee. Then dinner. One night. One terrible, beautiful, desperate night. I made a mistake. A profound mistake. A moment of weakness. Of yearning for connection. I found out I was pregnant weeks later. My heart sank. Fear. Guilt. Despair. I knew it wasn't Robert's. Mark had moved away. A new job in another state. I was alone with this terrible secret. I considered everything. Abortion. Running away. But I couldn't. I was a mother. I loved Michael. I loved the idea of our family. I convinced myself I could hide it, that no one would ever know. I lied to Robert. Said it was premature. Michael was always small. A little early. He never suspected. He loved Michael fiercely. Michael was his firstborn. His heir. I carried that secret. Every single day. For 5 decades. It was a weight in my soul. A constant dull ache. A reminder of my own betrayal. Of my own desperation. But I did it for the family. For Michael. So he would have a father. A name. A stable life. I built a fortress of silence around it. Now, in this moment, his betrayal had given me the key. It had freed me. It had given me the right to unlock my own prison. Robert roared, a primal sound of pain and rage. He smashed his fist on the counter. A plate shattered. Coffee grounds spilled. You lie. You're lying. You bitch. You're just trying to hurt me because of Chloe. I'm not lying, Robert. I wish I was. But I'm not. The truth is, I was lonely. You were never home. You barely looked at me. I was desperate for human connection. And I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. But I lived with it. For you. For Michael. For our family. I kept your perfect life intact. While you were out playing around. I was holding everything together. He stumbled back. Collapsed into a kitchen chair. His head in his hands. My God. My God. Michael. Not my son. He repeated the words like a broken record. He is your son, Robert. He always has been. You raised him. You loved him. You taught him everything. He just isn't biologically yours. My voice cracked. The pain was still there. The guilt, but also a strange sense of liberation. He lifted his head. His eyes were wild, filled with hatred. You knew. You knew all these years. And you let me believe he was mine. You let me love him. You let me brag about him. You let me plan for him. My inheritance. My legacy. You ruined everything. You ruined everything, Robert. With Chloe. With your betrayal. You pulled the thread. And now the whole tapestry is unraveling. The silence in the kitchen was deafening, filled with shattered dreams, broken trust, and the echoes of a past that had just exploded into the present. The next few weeks were a blur of screaming matches, of silence, of lawyers. Robert moved out that day, took a few bags, his golf clubs, his phone. He never looked back. He filed for divorce. It was ugly. He wanted to claim emotional distress. He wanted everything. The house, my savings. He even tried to use Michael's paternity against me, to discredit me, to paint me as the villain. I had to tell Michael. That was the hardest part. I called him, asked him to come home. He came with Jessica, confused, worried. I sat them down in the sunroom, the same room where I had so many happy memories. The dogs at my feet, Buster and Daisy, my constants. I told them everything, about Robert's affair, about the ultimatum. And then, I told Michael the truth about his paternity. He didn't speak for a long time, just sat there, staring at me, his face a mask of shock, then hurt, then anger. Jessica gasped. She put a hand over her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. Mom, is this true? Michael's voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. Yes, honey, it's true. I am so sorry, so profoundly sorry. I was young. I was lonely. I made a mistake. I never meant to hurt you. I only wanted to protect you, to give you a good life, a father, a good life built on a lie. He stood up, his voice rising. My whole life has been a lie. My father, my identity, everything I thought I knew about myself, about us. Jessica put her hand on his arm, tried to calm him, but he pulled away. How could you, Mom? How could you keep this from me? From Dad, all these years. I was scared, Michael, so scared. I loved you. I loved your father. I wanted to keep our family together. This isn't a family, Mom. This is a house of cards. And you just knocked it all down. He turned, walked out of the room, out of the house. Jessica followed him, a sad, apologetic glance at me. They didn't come back. Not for days, not for weeks. My son, my only son. the one I had sacrificed so much for, the one I had protected. He hated me. He couldn't forgive me. Sarah called. She was horrified by Robert's betrayal, but also devastated by my secret. "Mom, why? Why didn't you ever tell me?" She sounded distant, confused. My children, both of them, the center of my world, shattered. The divorce proceedings dragged on. Robert was relentless, vicious. He wanted to punish me. He hired the best. He painted me as a manipulative, deceitful wife, a liar. I watched my life become a public spectacle. The judge, the cold courtroom, the whispers. It was humiliating, soul-crushing. My friends, some stood by me. Others looked at me differently. The secret, it changed everything. It didn't matter what Robert had done. My lie, my decades-long lie, it overshadowed everything. In the end, the judge was fair. We split the assets. I kept the house he hated, because of the dogs. My inheritance was secure, but the emotional cost, it was immeasurable. Robert married Chloe 6 months after the divorce was final. They moved to Florida, just like he planned. A new life, a new family. I heard they bought a beachfront condo. I pictured them, laughing on the sand, just like in the photo. Michael, he struggled. He went to therapy. He eventually called me. Months later, his voice was strained, distant. "I need time, Mom. I don't know if I can ever truly forgive you." Or him. He still didn't speak to Robert. The revelation had ripped their relationship apart too. Grandchildren. I saw them only rarely. Supervised visits. Not the joyful chaos I once knew. Sarah visited. She was sad, angry, but she held my hand. "It's a mess, Mom. A terrible mess." She was the only one who still called, the only one who still saw me. But even with her, a wall had been built, a quiet understanding that some things were broken beyond repair. I am alone now. In this big house, the magnolia tree bloomed this year, a vibrant pink. I still drink my coffee in the sunroom, still watch the sunrise. Buster and Daisy are older, slower, but they are still here. My loyal companions, my last connections to unconditional love. Sometimes, I sit here, and I think about all of it. The choices, the lies, the betrayals. His, mine. Was it worth it? All the pain, all the secrets, to keep an illusion of a family. I don't know. The silence in the house is constant, a heavy blanket. I walk through the rooms, memories clinging to every surface. The children's height, marks on the kitchen wall, the worn spot on the carpet where we had our Christmas tree, Robert's empty study, the locked drawer in his desk, the locket, the photograph. It all feels like another lifetime, a life that was never truly real. I am 68 years old. My heart is heavy. My soul is tired. The sun still rises. The dogs still snore. But the world feels fundamentally altered, hollowed out. I survived, but a part of me died that day in the kitchen. A part of me that believed in forever. A part of me that believed in unconditional love. That part is gone, and it's never coming back.